90% of programmers that I talked to recently were tremendously underpaid, and in this video I will tell you number one reason that holds you back from earning what you really deserve as a programmer and how to fix it quickly. I'm Patrick and I've been working as a software engineer for years, and recently I started helping people to increase their employability and earning potential. Some of my clients already doubled their income quickly. When we cooperate with someone, we start from analyzing CV and job boards, and often it looks like this. I receive a CV, I look on it, and it looks totally average. Like, there is normal headline, description of jobs, there are different jobs in some minor or bigger companies, nothing extraordinary. Then I jump on a call with a guy and I ask him about his experience, what he's been up to recently and things like that. And his answers are also like, I was delivering this, that, I was writing on this and on that, and so on. Then I start digging and I ask more detailed questions. And for example, I asked him about what software architecture does he know. And he starts from like layer, then he goes to microkernel, then a lot about microservices. And he is speaking from his experience, describing it through the perspective like, we did this because of this, this and this, and it didn't work as good, so we changed it, blah, blah, blah. Then I ask him more questions about some other subjects related to programming world, like his soft skills. And it turns out that the guy was introducing newcomers to project, he was helping everyone around, he was leading some sessions, he was even talking to a client and negotiating shape of features and functionalities. And overall, generally, he's a kicking ass developer, but neither his CV nor his approach, the way he talks about his achievements, reflects that at all. And to earn more, he only has to realize a few things about which I will be talking now. First thing, obviously, you have to realize whether you are underpaid, because maybe you are overpaid and you are happy. So just a quick disclaimer. For investigating that, you can just go to Google, write your experience, your job, and average salary in your country, in capital of your country. You can check out other countries, because nothing stops you from working for UK's companies, USA, Switzerland, where earnings are way higher. But getting back to the story, another example is that everyone, when I was starting my programming career, was telling me, you have to spend some time in one company, like 3, at least 5 years, because companies don't like job hoppers. I believe this is the word. And if you will be changing job quickly, basically nobody will employ you because people want loyal employees and so on. Until, luckily for me, on the beginning of my career, I met one guy. Generally, he impressed me because after, 3 years of software engineering, commercially, let's say, he was already forming his startup, and after a while, when I checked out his LinkedIn, it turned out that he was also a CTO in a pretty important company that now is valued for millions of dollars. And I checked out his LinkedIn and it looked like this. 3 months here, 3 months there, then some empty space with forming his startup, then another 3 months job in one country, in another country, and so on. And then I realized, like on this meme that you can see on the screen, if you want to earn more, you have to change job often. And all of those things that people tell you, that you will be no longer employed, nobody will want you, and some of things like that, are total bullshit. Obviously, there are some corporations that will see you in more favorable light when you work only in Facebook for 10 years, because they know that it is like a safe bet for them. But if you know how to handle that, it can be your advantage, because Later on, when I talked to this guy, he said that in their startup, they don't employ anyone that didn't work in at least 5 companies. And he said, we don't care if it was like even in 1 year, because in our startup, we need people that will be flexible, that will adapt to this fast-paced environment. We want people that we will rely on in whatever situation will face us, you know? And if somebody worked in some corporation for 10 years, from our experience, this guy, he doesn't have 10 years of experience. He has 1 year of experience, but 10 times. Once you work in many companies, you were exposed to many code bases, many ways of developing products, projects, a lot of people, a lot of different thoughts, a lot of different views, and you're like a sponge, you just grow. And he also said that there was a research that normally we learn the most in companies throughout first 3 up to 6 months. So once you spend more than 6 months in one company, then you basically waste your time as a developer in terms of your growth. But obviously it depends. I will not put all the companies in one bag, because some of them expose you to many different projects, you have different tasks, and they have wonderful opportunities for people to grow. But from our experience, majority of jobs just take advantage of what you already know and give you tasks for you to complete as quickly as possible, because this is basically economically effective and so on. But for us to grow, to be better developers, to be better programmers that can then ask for more money, it is basically a suicide. Another thing is that people who are stuck in one job, they are afraid of changes. They are afraid that even if you will start looking for another job, you might be recognized by your company. They might know that you are looking for a job and they will fire you, and you will end up with nothing. And you might have mortgage or knife on your throat, and you will be between a hard place and a rock. You might be afraid of judgment, like you didn't go to any interview in last years, so you will for sure not know how to answer some questions, especially that you know how interviews are. They basically check how good are you in interviews, not how good developer you are, at least most of them. And so on. And this way, basically you stop yourself from getting more opportunities, whether it is better project that will suit more your needs, what interests you, or higher salary. Because of being afraid of changes, you are not exposing yourself to changes, and in the end you are not good developer, because this is basic skill for us, to adapt quickly to something, to learn quickly, to use something that we didn't use before effectively, and so on. And without doing it, I met recently people that said that they've been working in one company on one project for so long that they are afraid that they no longer know how to code. They no longer know how to develop products, because they were working only on one functionality. They were responsible for one module, so they have no idea how to do anything different. So, summing it up, number one thing that holds most of developers from earning what they really deserve, from growing as developers and being good, well-developed developers, it's fear, and that's it. You might call it sometimes imposter syndrome, you might call it procrastination. It has many different faces, but underneath all of that, it is basic instinctive fear. And there are many ways on how we can deal with it. We can go for short-term as long-term solution. First thing, whenever you want to change a job, you want to reach new level, first thing is to approach it as a programmer. If you will focus on something through the perspective of a big picture, that you will find a new job soon, but you haven't been doing anything about it in recent years, you don't know anything about algorithms, you don't know even how to form your CV so it will be attractive, you don't know interview questions, most common, or how to check out what this particular company might ask you about, then it might seem scary. But once you split it up to smaller tasks, and you start solving them one by one and focus only on one step ahead, it is not as scary anymore. Just start splitting it up. Let's say you want to apply for a job. So you will need a new CV. So you will have to know how to make it attractive, how to make it appealing to recruiters. So Google all of those things. Do it step by step. Start from only updating your, let's say, headline, then your jobs and blah, blah, blah. Focus on one step ahead, and that's it. Once you will have to make bigger step, like let's say you will have an interview after applying to some jobs, and obviously your palms will be sweating, you might have a blackout and things like that. Only being conscious of all of that, it already helps you. You have to know that it is natural reaction of our organisms to new unexpected things, like adrenaline increase and blah, blah, blah. It is normal. The more you do something that scares you, the more familiar you are with it, and you will do better every time. This is the first thing. Another thing is that you can go for small cheats. One of the tricks that will help you, it is to do something more scary. For example, shout on the street. Go out and just scream. Talk to a stranger. Say to somebody something that you have never said to anyone before. Do something that scares you more than this interview. It is small cheat, but helps a lot. Another thing is meditation. Once you are in stressful situation, try to focus on your feelings. Breathe deeply and face that fear. Don't try to distract with whatever. You can do it even by using visualization. Imagine that you have an interview, you don't know something, and everyone looks at you and they think like, geez, this is such a simple question, how he cannot know it. And do not try to escape this. Don't try to go to, I don't know, YouTube, bring your attention to something else to escape those feelings. Just face them. In long-term perspective, this is one of the best solutions. It is called auto-hypnotherapy. You can check that in Google. It is recommended as one of the most economical and the best solutions for us, because basically you are doing it only with yourself. There is nobody else involved, so you can open yourself and there is nothing to be afraid and ashamed from. And basically, as I know from our clients, doing more what scares you, it is already helping enough most of our clients to grow. I know tens of examples when the guy went for a first interview and was more like a puppy that has to be taken care of, had blackouts, and after the interview was saying, oh Jesus, it was so easy, how the heck I couldn't do it. It is something that I normally do blindfolded, you know? But over time, one interview, he was taking notes, what was wrong, he was focusing on the most important thing. He was preparing better, because the more you go to those interviews, the more familiar you are already with questions. You know what they ask, you know how to answer most of them, and from interview to interview, you are just getting better. Cool, so that would be it. Obviously, there are hundreds of things that you can optimize in terms of your employability and earning potential. I hope you liked my freestyle. If you did, then do yourself a favor. Only now, with our team, we opened our calendar for consultations, where after a short call, we will give you a solution to your individual situation. Book the call and we see each other on the other side. Peace.